Hello, hello. I hope everyone is having a Merry Christmas and everyone is having a great time with the family and with the friends or whoever you're spending time with on Christmas. I thought I am going live because of multiple reasons. So, actually, for the people in Germany, Christmas was on the 24th, so our main Christmas day was actually yesterday. And so today is more like another day where you could meet with family members or with friends. But for me personally, Christmas is already over, and I actually don't know what to do right now. So I thought, well, let's go live on YouTube and let's get some reading done because you're home alone and no one is around. You're already done with everything that you had to do, except I do have to get the laundry, which is currently in a washing machine. Excuse me, I am having the hiccups for some reason. Yeah, and to be honest, I actually feel a little bit lonely right now. I am home alone, and the last time I was home alone was in summer of 2023. So it's been a while. We live in a big old house, and I was so excited for being home alone and, no one was around me. But for some reason, after I came home, I think it was at around 4:30 or 4:20 p.m., I started to feel lonely once I was done with feeding the animals on our farm. And so I thought, all right, let's make myself a cup of tea. Let's settle down. I grabbed some laundry that I needed to wash anyway and loaded it into the washing machine to get it done right now. And then I grabbed all the things that I need from my room and brought it downstairs into the living room. That's where I'm currently sitting at. And I set up my TV in the living room so that I can watch YouTube and Netflix and all the all the TV shows and movies that I might want to watch, and I still feel a little bit lonely. So I thought, all right, you know what? Let's go back up to my room, go back up the stairs, grab my MacBook, and let's set up some random some random reading sprints, and let's just get some reading done. I already have Gavin Reads It All with live reading sprints, an old live stream up on my TV and running, and I already have my book next to me, which is still this bad boy right here, and I'm still so behind, so I guess it's a good idea to do reading sprints right now. But before we start, I do wanna talk about how Christmas and everything went for me and how today was actually going for me. And I wanted to show you guys a couple of my gifts that I actually got today and just talk about how the main Christmas event went for me. So don't worry, there is still enough time to get some reading sprints done because I'm actually staying up a little bit longer. It's currently 6 p.m., but it already looks like it's like 11 p.m. or something. So I definitely have the time to stay up a little bit longer and just don't go to bed at my usual time. I might just sleep in the living room actually, just because why not? So I have the house to myself, so I don't need to be in my room honestly. I am spending all my life in my room, and now I have the time to not do that. So I guess it's fine to stay in the living room and just have fun downstairs, I guess. All right, let's start with the 24th. Now, for those of you who weren't around on the 24th, I did some reading sprints for about 6 hours or a little bit more than 6 hours. And during those sprints, I was actually preparing Christmas gifts. I went for a shower. I did a workout session and a little bit of a run on my walking pad or on my treadmill. And I also got some reading done, of course. I also helped my mom with breakfast, and breakfast was pretty much delayed. We had breakfast at 11:30. So normally we would have it at around 8, and for some reason it got delayed. So it was a late breakfast. However, still fine. Everything went great, and honestly, yesterday was a really nice day. My boyfriend arrived at around, oh, what time was it? Shortly before 4:30. So we actually did had a little bit of a fun situation when we exchanged gift with each other, and he actually got me like a huge poster with our little cats on it. So now I have a huge poster with our two cats, Django and Luna, that I can hang in my room. I haven't really unwrapped it yet because the poster is wrapped in a like clear wrapping, so I was able to look at all of the pictures, but I do need to remove the wrapping. But I definitely will set it up later this weekend, maybe tomorrow, maybe on Saturday. I haven't really decided yet. So then we had a really nice dinner, but we actually ended up eating way too much, and we also ended up preparing way too much dinner. And the reason why we had way too much food prepared is pretty simple to explain. My mom never knows, or she can't remember how much food we had and what we actually need for like 5 people, 6 people, or 7 people. This year we were 7 people for Christmas, and we actually ended up only eating half of what we had prepared. So we actually had a lot of food that is still into like in our fridge, and yeah, we had way too much food prepared. So I definitely have stuff to eat while I'm being home alone, and we'll have a great time with the food that is still there. Then my boyfriend and I grabbed my stuff and drove over to his place because I was spending the night at his apartment. And honestly, I don't know how to explain this, but for everyone who doesn't know this about me, I have sleep issues. And with sleep issues, I mean that I have sleep issues probably every single night, but when I have to sleep at a different place, for example, at a friend's house or at my boyfriend's apartment, then the night could look like probably this scenario. I won't get any sleep. I have a hard time falling asleep. I have a hard time staying asleep. I wake up way too early and can't go back to sleep. And the whole night is just ruined. And therefore, I don't really like to spend the night outside our home. And I have a hard time with just getting it all done. And so I was a little bit anxious with yesterday and spending the night at his place until this morning. But actually, I did had a couple of sleep issues last night with falling asleep and staying asleep especially. So when I woke up this morning, I actually wasn't feeling that good, and I was tired during the afternoon events. So, yeah, I don't know what to say about today. It definitely wasn't great, but it was better than the last time we tried it. So it definitely got better, at least a little bit. However, later today at around 11:45 a.m., we get back into the car and we drove over to his mom's house, which is actually just 2 streets apart. So we don't have that much to drive. Like, it takes less than 2 minutes to walk it, and so you don't need to drive that long. And honestly, his mom, she actually prepared way too much food as well. So we had lunch. My boyfriend and I, we had salmon in a white pink sauce with some noodles, and we also had mashed potatoes, but the mashed potatoes were actually formed into like these big balls. Um, really great, really delicious. Everyone loved the food that was being served, and I still got some leftovers with me because his mom literally packed me a whole box of the food, and I had to take it with me when I drove home, or my boyfriend drove me home. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It was a little bit weird because when my boyfriend and I arrived at his mom's house, we actually did the gift exchange before we had our lunch. So we arrived, and the second we were there, the gift exchange happened. And then we had lunch. After lunch, we sat down into the living room on the couch and we just talked. We had some tea and coffee. Some people were scrolling on TikTok after, you don't have anything to talk about anymore. And I don't know. It was definitely sometimes boring at some time, at least for me, because we were just sitting and I was tired and I was full and I just wanted to go home and have a relaxed rest of the day, because I already had a pretty much bad night and it all caught up to me. So I I wanted to go home. I At some point I wasn't feeling good anymore and I definitely wanted to go home and be alone because for me interacting with a lot of people around me, especially at occasions like Christmas or a birthday, is like really hard for me. So I'm definitely not really a fan of these events, especially if they take many, many hours. And at around 3 p.m., we had coffee and cake, but you know, his mom baked 3 different cakes, and not a lot of people were eating cake. Like, we all had a struggle with eating a single piece of cake due to having lunch, and after lunch, we had a dessert. It was vanilla ice cream with hot raspberries. Really, really nice, and therefore not a lot of people were happy about the fact that we now have to eat cake. So once we were done with all the cake thing, we actually packed up our stuff, and my boyfriend and I, we left because I needed to be back at home at around 4 p.m. or shortly after 4 p.m. because I needed to take care of the animals. And since then, I have been at home. The only thing that I did so far was get changed into comfy clothes, grab everything that I need from my room and from my backpack and all the other places and put it into the living room. I set up the TV and I prepared myself something to drink. I already had my tea, and now I'm just sitting here and I am ready to read. Now, for the next part of this, what I wanted to show you guys, I want to show you what I got for Christmas, especially what I got during today. because I got a couple of things from my boyfriend's mom, and I got a couple of things from his sisters. So there is quite a lot of stuff laying next to me, and I thought I'm just gonna show you what I got. So the first thing that I got is from one of my boyfriend's sisters. Um, I have this little chocolate ladybug. I actually have two of these. They look so cute. Like, look at these little faces. They look so cute and nice. And, you know, it's chocolate. It's like a block of chocolate. So it's definitely delicious. And she also gave me these. Um, I honestly don't know what these are. Apparently, it's some type of chocolate with cookies and cream filling, caramel and sea salt, and mint and brownie filling. Never had these before, so I'm definitely interested in how these taste, but I'm probably not opening them until tomorrow or another day because I already had so much sweet stuff today that I don't want to open something and eat another sweet thing because I'm not really a sugar fan. Then from the same sister, I got these. Those are little fruit drops, also some type of sugary stuff, but actual hard candy, so you can't really bite it or anything. And I actually really like those as well, so I'm definitely excited for them. And I will be opening them probably during tomorrow. Then his mom actually gifted me a book, and this book is a collection of Christmas stories. Now, I'm not really a fan of Christmas stories, but we recently read A Christmas Carol in our book club, and everyone enjoyed it pretty much. So I'm definitely giving this book a go because apparently it's only like short stories about Christmas from German writers. So I'm definitely excited to, read those. And she also gave me these chocolate type of things. I never had these, so I can't really tell you how these taste. And I definitely will put them into the fridge because I'm not going to open these anytime soon. It really depends on how I feel. And in my advent calendar for today, because my advent calendar actually is 25 days long instead of 24, and I have a water drop advent calendar, I got this little planner for 2026. Now, it's pretty much just a little planning tool, so you can actually just plan out your whole year and every single week. And it actually starts on like Monday next week, on December 29th. So you have this part with the date of the day, and then you can just write things into these lines. It's a pretty basic planner, but it actually does the job. So I definitely feel like it's gonna be a great idea. And in the back, you have this little pouch where you can put in some papery stuff. So it's definitely a cute planner, and I will use it because I don't really have a planner yet for next year, at least not a paper planner. So I'm definitely excited to try this one and see how this is going to feel and what I can actually write in there. So, yeah, those are the things that I got for Christmas. And actually, I don't think I got anything else except from my grandma. She gave me a couple of candy stuff and also some a little bit of money. And I got new bed sheets from my parents that were on my wish list. So I definitely got some good stuff that I like. And I can't say that I don't like what I got. It's definitely a lot of good stuff, and I definitely will use it for different reasons. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be here this weekend and to have the weekend for myself. I don't know if I mentioned it in the other streams that I did the last few days, but I will be spending the whole weekend alone. And this weekend, I am actually planning on doing a 24-hour readathon. I tried to do it last weekend, but I failed because people interrupted me and I got pretty much stressed because of family members. So this weekend is going to look different because I'm home alone and there is a live event happening, reading sprints with Gavin on Saturday. I'm already really excited for these, and another live event on Sunday where we watch a TV show together or a true crime documentary. So I'm really excited for that as well. Now, let me figure out how I can actually show you what I plan on reading this weekend. And I feel like I can actually show you my screen if I remove this guy real quick and add this on the screen. So, for those of you who don't know what this is a new website and app called Pagebound, and you can track the books that you are reading or want to read or have been reading on this list. So, this is like something really funny and at least something that I personally like to do. And I'm just gonna show you. So on the front page, you can see which books I am currently reading, although I haven't started two of these. I am in the middle of two audiobooks, The On Fire and The Devouring Light are audiobooks I'm in the middle of. And then we have Not Quite That Yet by Holly Jackson, which is the paperback that I showed you earlier. And then I have a classic next to The Hand of the Wall, which is another paperback that I'm reading. The classic, I haven't started it, but it's on my Kindle. And the book next to the classic is a buddy read that I am reading on my Kindle every couple of days. Now, on here, if I click on my library, you can create shelves. And I have a shelf called Weekend Readathon, and on this shelf I have 17 books, and those 17 books are books that I plan on reading during this weekend. Now, my reading weekend starts on Friday, so it starts tomorrow with a live stream that is happening in the early morning hours, and it actually ends at, I think, Monday night. So I will be doing a lot of reading between the 26th and the 29th of December, just because I don't really have any other plans for those days, and I'm also not going to feel good during this weekend because of woman problems that we have once a month. So yay, that's gonna be fun. And therefore I will be doing a lot of reading because reading is relaxing and I don't really have to do a lot. So other than sitting down and relaxing, nothing else is on the plan for the next few days. And I feel like it's a good idea to just do that and, have a relaxing time, because why not? I don't really feel like doing anything. I don't really have to do anything. And so spending my days with these things instead of something else that I don't feel like doing, it should be totally fine. So I am hoping to have a great time and get a lot of reading done. I mean, I have 17 books on here. I already have the first row on my Kindle. Then we have Dungeon Crawler Call. The Devouring Light is the audiobook. Supernatural is a paperback. Then we have another paperback and, different formats, different editions, everything that I could possibly want. And I want to spend my weekend that way with getting a lot of reading done. So I'm gonna switch back to my focus screen so we can actually start with the first reading sprint. So I am going to do between 45 minutes and 60 minutes of a sprint. So I will mute myself and turn off my camera during that sprint because for the first sprint I have to check on my laundry, which should be ready by now, and I have to hang it up and I will listen to an audiobook while I will be getting my laundry ready. And feel free to come back and chat with me once the first sprint is over. I will be here. I am planning on being online for a few hours because there's nothing really that I want to do right now and nothing really that I can do right now. So instead of feeling lonely, which was the reason why I came online today, although didn't really plan on coming online today, I am going to try to have fun and get over that feeling of being lonely. So I might put on a TV show for the first sprint while I'm hanging out my laundry so that I can watch a episode or two, and feel free to use these sprints as reading sprints or productivity sprints. In my case, it's productivity sprints for hanging up wet laundry. And also, I don't know, I did had something else that I needed to do, but I forgot what it was. So I will be back. I'm gonna set up a banner so you know what I'm doing. Because I will be watching Dexter, the TV show about that serial killer. I'm in the middle of the third season, so I will be watching that while I do my laundry. And yeah, I'm gonna put on this and I'm gonna set up the first sprint. I don't really know which is like the perfect look, but I feel like this sounds fun. Can we change it to like something else that is not really... Yeah, winter cabin. Looks nice. I'm gonna reset that. Okay, for some reason it didn't take the picture. Do I have to like... Why are we not saving it? Am I doing this wrong? Hold on, do I have to go... No. Well, I am new to Focus, so I don't know how to do like all of this. For some reason I can do it here, but I can't do it there. So I'm gonna start this and... Well, it's not showing the actual picture. That is weird. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. It's not changing anything. So we're gonna leave it like that and just see where this ends up. So I'll be back in an hour. Happy reading, happy productivity sprint, happy watching TV, doing laundry, or doing whatever you need to do, and I will be back with you in an hour. Hello, hello. I am back, and honestly, my first sprint was probably the best productivity sprint that I had the whole week or within the last 14 days, probably. So I actually did quite a lot of things. Hold on, I need to set my MacBook down. Can't really hold it right now. So yeah, I did a couple of things during this sprint. I started with getting all of the laundry out of the washing machine and then putting it on like the hangers to let those clothes dry. And I turned on my Christmas tree, or the family Christmas tree that is standing in the kitchen slash dining area. So I did that, and once I was done with all of the laundry, I actually went back to my room and grabbed my alarm clock. I grabbed my bed sheets and my pillows and put everything down onto the couch because it is a little bit cold in here, but it is still warm. It's not too cold. It's definitely not as cold as it's normally in my room, so it's definitely enjoyable being downstairs rather than being in the cold room where I normally sit all day. And I cleaned up the kitchen. There wasn't that much to clean up. There were only a couple of things that needed to be washed, especially one of my older water bottles that I left in the kitchen yesterday before my boyfriend and I left. And so I cleaned it up and made sure that the kitchen is clean. And then I watched one episode of Dexter during the whole laundry and bringing down my bed sheets and cleaning up the kitchen sprint. So, in the end, I think I am fully set up now and don't think I have to go back to my room to grab another thing because it looks like I finally have everything with me and I can stay in the living room. Probably will sleep in the living room because why not? I mean, no one is here. And honestly, it's a big house, and I remember from 2 years ago when I was home alone, I actually ended up sleeping in the living room for like the whole 4 weeks that I was alone at home, just because it's a big house. A house makes a lot of noises, especially an old house like this one, especially in the nighttime. So I definitely feel safer if I sleep in the living room rather than in my room, which is like at the highest point of our house. And yeah, just sleep in the living room. That is like what I'm trying to do tonight. And honestly, everything is set up. There are a couple tiny things that I need to adjust. For example, I have my backpack right next to me on the couch that I had with me when I slept over at my boyfriend's house. And I need to grab my reading light because even though I have a small light on right there, it's near the window, it's not enough for me to like read and see like everything that I would be reading. So I definitely need to put on my reading light, and hopefully this will fix the light issue because I don't like to turn on the overhead lights. We do have those lights up there, but I really don't like using them. So instead, I am grabbing my reading lamp because I recently bought myself a little book light that you can literally just clip onto the book. It's not ruining your pages or anything. It's actually making reading at night easier for the eyes. and you end up getting sleepy because it's not really keeping you awake. So I really like to use this light, and I definitely don't have any issues with it, or ever since getting it, I never had issues with it. I also made it to page 155. I was on page 133 yesterday when I stopped my reading sprints. So I read about 22 pages during this sprint. So I guess it's good progress. And yeah, if I want to finish this book by tomorrow, I definitely have to stick to more reading tonight and tomorrow. And if I end up not reading anything for the rest of today, then I really have to log in tomorrow with my reading sprints and hopefully get it all done by tomorrow, because Saturday looks totally different. And yeah, I just need to read more this weekend. I am excited for reading, but the last couple of days were really stressful, even though it was a wonderful time. And like I said earlier, when we were at my boyfriend's mom's house and there were a lot of people around, I actually wanted to go back home just to be alone, because too many people freak me out, and I have issues with keeping up with everything and what people are talking about, and it's just not really my thing to have to be part of so many interactions and talking to all those people. So I'm glad when I'm able to spend a little bit time alone rather than being around a lot of people. And yeah, it is fun being around those people and just spending time with them. But in the end, it's really stressing me out and it's taking my energy from me. So I'm glad that I am now home and have the weekend ahead of me. Literally 4 days where I'm definitely not gonna do anything else than reading. So I'm excited for these. And I keep repeating myself, but it's the reality. This is like the biggest thought on my head right now, that I have 4 days of reading ahead of me, and I know that no one is going to interrupt me. So this is fun to do, and I'm so excited for it. So I can't wait until tomorrow. Also, for the next sprint, I might do another hour. And for the next sprint, I need to set up my alarm clock. I actually have this cable that I grabbed from the kitchen a few minutes ago, and I need to plug it in, and then I have to go back to my room one more time and grab my other outlet, because I have an outlet that you put into another socket, and you can actually remotely change the timing on that outlet. So for example, there's a timer on the outlet that is turning the outlet on every night at around 4:45 a.m. and I have my phone plugged into that socket, and so it turns off at 7 a.m., normally the time where I'm awake. And so my phone is charged without actually overcharging it overnight, because it's only charging for about 2 hours and then it's turning off again. So I have to grab this outlet and also set up my sunlight or sunrise sunset alarm clock, because tomorrow I have sprints starting really, really early and I need to be prepared for these sprints, which also means I have to wake up early, because otherwise I can't start the sprints as early as I want them to start. And yeah, it might be a struggle, I don't know, but I'm hoping that everything is going smoothly tonight, and I'm actually excited for the next few days. Another thing, or a couple more things that I need to do before I can continue reading is, for once, I need to update my digital reading journal. I use a Google Sheet for that, and I need to update it because I did some reading this morning and also yesterday before I went to bed, and I haven't logged these dates because I hadn't had my MacBook with me, so I need to do that. Then I have to get ready for bed and just change into my pajamas. I actually have to look where my pajama is at because I can't really remember. I've seen like the pajama pants, but I don't remember where the top is because I didn't had it with me. And then setting up my alarm clock and changing the time because I will be using it as a night light, which might sound stupid, but the sunrise alarm clock that I have is like multifunctional. You can use it as a sunrise alarm clock, and it also has a nightlight function, and it also has a Bluetooth function, so you can actually connect your phone via Bluetooth to the alarm clock. And because I like to listen to podcasts or audiobooks while I'm falling asleep, I like to turn on the nightlight and listen to something and set a timer. And when the timer is done, the alarm clock will turn off the light and the audiobook that was playing. So ever since getting this alarm clock, I have been using that feature and I really enjoyed it. So I need to set that up, and I probably have to change the alarm clock time, like when I want to be awake or being woken up. Sometimes my English is a little bit worse than normally. I need to change the time so that I wake up at a specific time because I don't know what timing is on that alarm clock right now. So I need to take a look at that and change it and make sure it's set up for the next morning. And I also have to wash one more water bottle because it's a water bottle that I use overnight and probably every single day if I don't use my water drop tumbler. And the water bottle that I need to clean is a self-cleaning water bottle. So I don't really have to do a lot of cleaning, but I have to change the contents. And then I refill it because that's the one that I use overnight because it is tracking how much water I drink and it's logging it to my water tracking app. So I don't have to do the tracking and the logging because the bottle is already doing it. And yeah, I just have to clean it and refill it, and hopefully this will do the trick for tonight so that I'm fully set up for the night and I'm ready to go to sleep because I'm honestly really tired because last night wasn't great. And so I'm excited for going to sleep tonight, and hopefully this will work just fine. And so, yeah, there are a couple more things I need to set up, but it should be fine because it's normally not a big problem to do so. So, anyway, I'm gonna let that timer run out until the next sprint is going to start. And I'm also going to be changing this to And we are back with another sprint. Happy reading, happy productivity, get some shit done, and have fun. See you in the next one. All right. So, I hope everyone had a great sprint. My sprint was fine. It could have been better, but it's already like 8:42 p.m. and I honestly grabbed something small to eat. I mean, I already had a lot of stuff to eat today and I was feeling pretty full most of the day, to the point where I was feeling quite sick from all of the food that I had to eat. And I didn't think that I would get hungry again. So I went for some Gouda cheese, and my boyfriend made, I don't know what's it called, but it's like a self-made bread that he prepared yesterday before we went to sleep. And so he brought a couple of slices of this bread and gave it with, yeah, brought it with him and gave them to me when I was dropped off by him at home. So I grabbed 2 slices of this bread and put some butter on it, as well as some Gouda cheese slices or cheese bites. So I have a little bit of a snack before the day ends for me. And yeah, I had a snack for this last sprint that I just did, and I was watching a little bit of YouTube while I enjoyed my dinner snack. So I didn't get any reading done during this sprint, but I grabbed my stuff. I also had to set up my alarm clock, which is this little guy right here. So for some reason it resetted itself when I unplugged it and plugged it back in downstairs in the living room. So I had to set the time again and set the alarm and made sure that all of the settings were right. And yeah, that took a couple of minutes as well. I also grabbed the socket for the outlet that I was talking about in the last break and set it all up. My phone is currently charging, but only for a few minutes because I was running out of battery and I want to listen to an audiobook while I'm falling asleep, so I definitely need a little bit of juice in my phone, and I just made sure that it's not going to run out of battery during the night. I also grabbed this reading light. You can actually pull this down like that way, and this side is going to be put into a book, and then you can turn on the light with this button. And it's actually like a really warm light. There are a couple other light settings, but this is really cozy and comes in handy with reading in bed when you turn off all the other lights in your room and you don't want big lights that light up the room, and you only want a light that is focusing on your book, on your current pages. I mean, if you're reading on a Kindle, which I do very often, especially during day and night reading times, then you don't need a light, because the Kindle, of course, it's doing it on its own for you, and you don't have to put a light on it, or you don't have to turn on a light just to be able to read on a Kindle. However, with physical books, this is not really a thing, and you definitely have to look for lighting. And honestly, I even have to turn on lights during daytime because I already have bad eyes, and for some reason, it's really dark in Germany in wintertime. So it takes like until 11 a.m. until it's like fully bright. And then from that it will already go darker again. So there is really not a great timing, especially in December and the early months of the new year, to be able to read during the day, because it's foggy outside and it's just really dark and gray, and there's no way you can actually see enough when you want to read something like a physical book without having to turn on a light. So I bought myself this little reading light, I think 2.5 or 3 weeks ago. It arrived early December, and I have been using it ever since for bedtime reading. I haven't used it during the day, but I normally use it during bedtime just because I don't like putting on other lights that light up the room. But my sunrise or sunset alarm clock does have a light function like the night light that I was talking about earlier that I use, and therefore it is kind of lighting up the room for me, but not in a bad, bright way. So having this is like a game changer, and I'm glad that I bought myself a reading light or a book light. I don't know what the name is, but this little guy is saving so much time, and you actually don't like, if you put on a room light, the room lighting is like keeping you awake. And a book light is totally not doing that. Instead, you actually get tired during reading, no matter if the light is on or not, and don't have any trouble with falling asleep. So I really like using it. And as of right now, it's nearly 8:50 p.m. now. I know it's still early for a lot of people around me, and I'm definitely one of the first people in my family that go to sleep really early. But I had a rough night last night, didn't really get much sleep, although my Apple Watch told me I got at least 7 hours, but it doesn't really feel like it because I was constantly waking up and just not falling asleep very easily. So I already have a little bit of a headache and had this headache all day long, but it was like coming and going and coming and going. So I wasn't even sure if I actually had a headache or if it was just a headache that stayed for a while and then is gone. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling it now that the night that I just had was a bad one, and my body is like slightly getting tired even more than before, and everything is just hurting at this point. So I might just end the sprints for today right here. I will be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. German time because I want to start early tomorrow, and I'm also gonna be focusing on a different book, I think, if I remember it correctly, because my TBR is really huge at the moment, and I still try to read as many books as I can before the year ends. But this is just a challenge. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If I read 5 out of the 24 books that I have planned, I have read 5 books. This is still good. It's not bad. You shouldn't like try to hit a specific number and stress yourself when you already notice that there is no way you're gonna hit that number at the end of the month, because the month is like gone in 6 days. So in 5 days, it's my birthday. In 6 days, the new year is coming. So the year is going to be over, and there is no point in rushing yourself with reading more books than you physically can. But like I said, I'm excited for the weekend ahead of me, and my weekend readathon starts tomorrow morning. I will be streaming live for a couple of hours, and I am trying to read as much as I can between Friday and Monday. So I definitely have 4 days full of reading that I can use to get as much pages and books done as I physically can do. And I hope that all of this is just going to work out for me. But I am getting tired, and guess I just go to bed a little bit earlier today. I will be listening to my audiobook with my alarm clock and hopefully get a good night's sleep so that I be ready for tomorrow to get a lot of reading done. I hope everyone was able to read at least a little bit, or you know, you were able to be productive in here, because that's the main purpose of these sprints, I guess. And like I said, I am really new to doing these sprints. This is just something that I do to personally help myself out, because I sometimes struggle with reading. And so this is something that I personally do to make myself read more, because if I'm taking part in a reading sprint and actively see the reading sprint happening, then I am able to read more. So I hope everyone had a great time, and I am going to sleep because I'm going to wake up early tomorrow and I really need some sleep. Merry Christmas to everyone who's celebrating Christmas on the 25th, which is today. And also, I hope everyone who was celebrating it like I did on the 24th had a great Christmas with the family and friends. And I see you guys tomorrow, where I will probably read a new book, and I'm really excited for it. So, good night, or good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you live. And I see you guys on the next day. Bye.